Hello and a warm welcome to Mediaweek. I'm Ingrid Willinge. James Manning, the editor of Mediaweek, is with me now as my co-host, of course. Welcome, James, to the program.
Hi, Ingrid.
Well, there's lots to talk about, as there always is, and we've got a big guest joining us shortly, which we'll get to in just a moment. But first up, I want to talk about some of the news in the media space this week, and we can't go past Fairfax and Nine and the merger there and Fairfax delisting from the ASX.
Yeah, look, it's from where we were last week. They've had the federal court has signed off on it and said, yep, it can go ahead. Anthony Catalano was unsuccessful in his last-minute bid to sort of, to stop it and get some time. At least he wanted some time maybe to put forward a proposal. He wasn't granted that. And so it's going ahead. Yeah, the Fairfax Media shares have stopped trading, and the new look 9 starts trading from, I think, Monday, December, is it 10 or 9? But
I wonder whether the cat got the invite to the big end of year bash that I saw plastered. It'll be interesting to see if he's still in the good books.
Yeah, well, it would be surprising if he was there, I guess. But, I'm not sure. So yeah, but look, there's, but it's really full steam ahead now. There's been sort of working groups within both Fairfax and Nine. Hugh Marks has addressed all the staff talked about the massive opportunities he sees for the new look business. They've got a big online portal set up for all the staff that can go to with all the concerns. There's Q&As, FAQs set up there, lots of information. So, and he promised, look, he'll be all the staff, both at Fairfax and Nine, will be hearing a lot from Hugh Marks over the next couple of weeks.
Well, it's a big mega merger, and you imagine the first of many in the media space. I mean, are you expecting more consolidation going forward?
Yeah, we've seen a little one in New Zealand with Mediaworks over there taking over a QMS, the QMS New Zealand. So they're going to be offering their television, radio and outdoor. So they think that's a good way to go. Yeah, look, I'm sure we'll see some things happening next year. Lots of speculation that Seven and maybe News Corp will be involved somehow. We've talked about that for a long time. But yeah, I think we'll see stuff happening next year. All
right, we'll watch this space. No doubt, James, you'll be taking us through it when it happens. All right, earlier this year, we'll move on because Foxtel lodged a winning bid to show all international and Big Bash League cricket played in Australia. Fox Sports subsequently launched a Fox Cricket channel earlier this year, and so far seems to be getting some impressive numbers for its coverage of India and South Africa and Australia. Next week, they cover the first test against India too, and joining us to tell us just how impressive those numbers are is the head of Fox Sports Australia, Peter Campbell. He joins us now in the studio. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you so much. So tell us about these initial Fox Cricket crowds. You got close to, what, 500,000 last weekend?
Oh, look, Sunday night was fabulous, wasn't it? At the SCG, pretty much a full house. India, noise, colour, and not only was there obviously a full house at the SCG, but we were really impressed with our audience numbers, early days. But I think we did about a 460,000 average audience for the second session, i.e. when the innings change took place. But ratings are but one measure of success and interest and those sort of things. So, but certainly it's been pretty encouraging.
The form of the Australian cricketers, has that been any sort of concern for you coming into this summer after spending all that money?
Oh, we've had unbelievable form of Australian cricketers, James. Our women are World Cup champions now, courtesy of Sunday. So
and that rated well too.
It was really good. But no, for the on the men's team. Look, clearly there's, they're going through a rebuilding phase, but Australians love nothing more than, backs against the wall, and Australians do their best when their back's against the wall. So I think, summer comes around, I think we'll be hopefully pleasantly surprised.
So you're hoping to build on these numbers as you go forward, obviously, because it is early days, as you said.
Look, it's a very early step for us. We've never had the domestic cricket, if you like, the cricket over an Australian summer with the rights that we've got. We've never had that before. And so this is a brand new opportunity for us to, over the next 6 years, to be able to build a narrative and a story and follow Australian cricket through what is a time of year that Australians just love it and absorb it. We've got cricket throughout the rest of the year. When Australians tour overseas with a whole lot of international cricket as well. But realistically, for the first time, the Australian summer here in Australia on Fox Cricket, we're really excited.
Yeah.
What are your expectations when you start having cricket that'll also be on Seven? Because that happens to you, of course, with rugby league and AFL.
Yeah.
You have some games exclusive, others you share. Do the numbers tend to drop when you have to share with the free-to-air broadcast?
Yeah, they do, but hopefully between both Seven and us, what we're doing is actually growing the pie of people who are going to be able to experience cricket. And they're going to be able to experience cricket differently. In some ways, the difference between, I'll look at AFL as an example, is that in many ways we just take each other's respective coverage. So when, in a game of AFL, when Seven produce Friday night football, we take that coverage. When we produce a game that they show into Sydney or into Brisbane of a local team, Seven will take our coverage. The difference this time round with cricket is that we are both largely doing very distinct and very different types of coverage of the game. So we're actually giving customers and viewers a completely different opportunity, and I think we'll express our different personalities that way.
News Corp obviously recently launching its streaming service. How much does Fox Sports have to do with that?
You're talking about the Kayo service?
Yes, that's the one.
Look, Kayo, everything that comes through from Kayo comes out of the Fox Sports business, but it's run very much as a distinct business unit. Obviously, there's 50 live sports that are available through Kayo. With Fox Sports, we are the Fox Sports channels. Kayo has the benefit of not only the live sports that are available on Fox Sports, but also the sports that are available from ESPN and from beIN as well.
This must have been planned for a little while though, Kayo, because you would have had to have special rights, wouldn't you, for Kayo?
To answer your question on the planning, it's certainly been planned for a fairly, for a reasonably long period of time, because we wanted to make sure we got the tech stack right and the user experience and all of those sort of things. In terms of the rights, James, we have always sought, when we're buying and acquiring sports rights, always trying to seek rights which are both traditional broadcast for subscription television and digital rights, because Fox Sports and Foxtel have always largely carried just about all of their products on a digital service, be it through Foxtel Go, Foxtel Now, Foxtel Play, those sort of things. So it's actually just been a natural transition. It's just a different way of presenting live sport to a different type of consumer.
More broadly, lots of people, obviously, as we were talking about, focus on the ratings, and you said there it's not just about ratings. I mean, how much is it also, I guess, being prepared to cater to niche audiences?
Look, very much so. I think, you know, there's no doubt when you look at the modern fabric of what Australia looks like, you know, we're being able to open up a sport, particularly something along the lines of cricket, which we know has enormous appeal to you know, what you might call a traditional third generation, fourth generation Australian. And then there's the new Australian, and we know what cricket means for particularly for people who are coming from India, the subcontinent, you know, where it means so much to them. And this gives us a brand new opportunity to be able to talk to those Australians, to be able to say, hey, we've got something here that's your national team. And we can show the best of cricket that way.
Talking about those sports, I'm thinking of things like NBL, which is going through quite a bit of a rebirth, if you like, with some new management, some new look teams. Even the A-League maybe is going through a period of transition. How do those sports now sit within your portfolio against some bigger things like you have cricket and football dominating?
Look, we're really fortunate, James, at Fox Sports that we've had wonderful owners who have always backed us in to be able to acquire sports rights that will broaden the breadth and depth and reach of sport to as many people as possible. We can cater to the big, large audiences through the traditional AFL, NRL, now cricket, obviously rugby, and then more developing sports. Now, it's hard to say A-League is developing. It's 14 years. It's been going now for 14 years. But we've been really fortunate to be able to, you know, with the services that we're able to offer, cater to a number of different sporting interests that aren't just about the big sports, but equally cater to some of the smaller sports bodies and be able to give them an opportunity to get their sports out, because there's clearly interest in a lot of those. Moving on to 4K, that's been an interesting sort of development as well. How's that going, and are you, you know, expecting to see it spread to more channels? Well, look, at the moment we've created one dedicated 4K channel on Foxtel, channel 444, and early days we're really pleased. I mean, when you sit there and look at the difference between high definition and 4K, and in particularly if you look at standard definition, there's still a lot of people who watch in standard definition against 4K. It's extraordinary, and when you talk to someone like Katie Page at Harvey Norman and how many 4K sets that they're selling, the natural progression for us is to be able to deliver these most amazing pictures. It's also a brand new learning for us from a production perspective because we need to rebuild all of our graphics in 4K. It's a brand new outside broadcast setup that we actually do with 4K. So there's a lot of learnings. We've only done, I think up until now, I think it's we must be up to event number 6 or 7 in 4K. We started with Bathurst and then we moved into the ODIs with South Africa and the T20s with India and the test match on Thursday in 4K. I expect, hopefully the weather's great because it's just going to show Adelaide Oval in its absolute finest.
Peter, is the future of Foxtel in your hands almost? I mean, and I ask that by thinking, is sports rights, it's now the single most valuable content sort of any broadcaster can have, isn't it?
No, I don't think so, James. I think when you look at what Foxtel offers our customers, it is such a broad depth and range of amazing content, be it news, sport, entertainment, drama, movies, and obviously now with the 4K, and then with what we've been able to do with the new iQ4, the streaming services that the set-top box is now able to offer customers, so that in their home they can use that set-top box as an amazing on-demand streaming service in addition to the linear services, the linear channels, and to be able to offer all of those services now through this amazing set-top box, which is, it gives customers unbelievable control at their fingertips. Sitting in a lounge room. It's a really amazing experience. So no, sport isn't the linchpin.
So so your research or your data tells you that people still subscribe to Fox. I guess sport must be up there though, but they still want other things, do they? The movies and the premium drama is still critical.
And the news.
Don't forget about us, James.
Very much so. No, James, it really is the smorgasbord, and people are able to. They're able to consume what they want to. So, our dramas and our movie service, particularly our dramas, the deals out of HBO and out of FX are just amazing. And the only place you can see those is on Foxtel. And, amazing product. And it really is an amazing array of content. Of course, you'd expect me to say that, but. I sit down and look at what I can, my family and my wife and I can sit down and watch on any night of the week or any time of the day, and it's up to us, and there's a huge array there.
I want to talk about sports rights in a bit more detail just briefly before we go, because do you have everything you want now, or is it just a case of managing them?
Oh, look, I'd always want more if you could. When if you're fortunate enough to run a sports service like Fox Sports, I'd say we'd love more, but look, if I think about the Australian sporting landscape, AFL, NRL, cricket, Super Rugby, the A-League, we've got a basketball, we've got the big Australian sports there, and then we've got smaller Australian sports too, and as well as our internationals. So I think we've got an amazing offering for our customers.
Just finally, maybe, there's nothing rolling over big in the near future, I don't think. You're pretty locked down with most of your major rights, but when it comes time for renewal, does the way you super serve those sports, does that help you much in those negotiations, or does it basically always just get down to the money as the bottom line?
No, I don't think so, James. I think it very much comes down to the sports bodies look at a number of different things, and clearly I think the sports bodies want a partner who is also a subscription partner as well. Not everything can get away on one channel on free to air at all, and so being able to work with us in that way, the sports rights owners are far more sophisticated now than 15, 20 years ago, and 15, 20 years ago is when they started to embrace subscription television, and depth, reach, engagement with a viewer, fan, customer. We're all after the same thing, and both the sports body and ourselves. So I think the sports bodies get it, and it's certainly our business model.
Peter Campbell, Head of Fox Sports Australia, we really appreciate your time on the show. We'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, before we go on Media Week, though, we are going to quickly take you through the ratings for week 47, free to air now. Week 47, wow, there you have it. There is the top 5, James. We've got a lot of news in there, 7 and 9 news.
Yeah, look, second last survey week of the year, that is England. Have you been paying attention? That was their series final. Look, it's been one of 10's real champions this year, doing very well for them. That was their final episode for the year.
And there's Pride and Prejudice in there. I haven't actually watched, I have to admit, but I've seen a lot of promos
Yeah, it's
for
done
it.
pretty well. The numbers haven't been huge, but at this time of the year, when the numbers do tend to drop a little bit as the summer gets closer, it's been doing quite well for Seven.
All right, and then let's look at subscription television now. The top 5, no surprise to see there. Cricket, T20, Fox Cricket taking the top 2 spots, and you got Supercars.
Yeah, look, it'd be fascinating to see if that how the Test cricket, we're just a week away from the first Test, how those numbers stack up against what they've been getting for the T20, bearing in mind it'll also be on 7. Supercars, yeah, look, had a big year. Fox Sports doing very well, and that Socceroos game, that just did sensational business. A few more of those internationals at home here. I think the broadcasters and the administrators would like that.
As you say, just one or 2 weeks left of ratings now. So
yeah, well, a couple of days actually.
Yep.
Finishes on Saturday night, and we'll see those figures in next week's show.
Well, we'll see you on the show then, James.
Indeed.
Really
Thanks,
appreciate your time.